For more on the story, I'm joined by Mey Al Sayegh, the Middle East and North Africa head of communications for the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. Thank you for joining us. First of all, I'd like you to give us the latest updates from the ground, especially when it comes to the death toll, to the number of people missing, all of that information.
Yeah, so far the Libyan Red Crescent Society have been responding, and we don't have, exact figures from the ground. It's still, tentative figures. More than 5,000 have passed away, and the Libyan Red Crescent teams have been doing their best to support people on the ground and evacuate them and provide them with shelter and the basic needs. And sadly, 3 of our volunteers have passed away from the Libyan Red Crescent while trying to respond to the needs on the ground and evacuate the people.
As we've seen on some of the images, the destruction is really very important. How much ground have your teams been able to search, to reach, and what are the challenges right now really to reach the most devastated areas?
Yeah, I give you an example about Derna, for example. In Derna city, it was one of the 5 routes was accessible because of the scale of the floods, and it was difficult for the rescue teams to save lives. So even though they tried to overcome these challenges and find ways to evacuate people and try to rescue them. Another challenge is the telecommunications and the connections there. So even you cannot make a phone call, you have to go for like 40 kilometers to be able to have a signal. So these were among the challenges, and also the capacity of the national society. There are 400 volunteers on the ground responding, and even the national society was trying to be ready before these flash floods. They already knew that there will be these floods coming over, but it was beyond their capacity. They have been prepared to respond to disasters and crisis like this, but the magnitude of the crisis is very big, and also the infrastructure in the country, we cannot make this now what is happening now isolated from 10 years of conflict in the country, and this has impacted the infrastructure severely, be it on the health and care level, be it on the water and the sanitation network. So it's affecting the whole response. And despite all of that, we have seen that how the volunteers are responding.
You mentioned the destruction, you mentioned recovering some of those bodies, the people who are surviving but who are still there in dire conditions. What would you say are really the most urgent needs right now, if we talk about right now, not looking down the road?
Yeah. Search and rescue operations are still ongoing. Evacuation is very much needed, and in terms of shelter, to be able to provide a place for people to rest, and the emergency health services, also water and sanitation services, and we cannot forget the psychosocial support.
As far as the political situation in Libya, there are, of course, these 2 rival governments. How have they been coordinating to receive this international aid? Has there been any complication to these rescue efforts because of the political situation specific to Libya?
Yeah. For the IFRC, we work with and through the national society on the ground. So the Libyan Red Crescent was able to work on all over the country. So we didn't face these challenges, and they were because the Libyan Red Crescent is perceived and acceptable as a neutral party in the country. So they are only responding to the humanitarian needs, and their efforts are ongoing. And so far, things are moving on the right direction. It's slow, as I told you, because the magnitude of the crisis is big, but we have seen that there is collaboration between all branches of the Libyan Red Crescent, and teams are collaborating to ensure a effective response in a timely manner.
Mey Al Sayegh, thank you very much for joining us. You're the MENA Head of Communications for International Federation of the Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, joining us there from Beirut.